Woo! Mind is blown over what's been happening on the internet over the last few days. Now, the question that people have been asking, at least in the last 3 days, more than we've been asking in the last 3 years, is NIL destroying college athletics? Is it killing the game and not in a good way? I know there are varying opinions here, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. So chime in, get your comments ready. I want to hear what you think. Let me say this real quickly before I jump into the topic of the day. Is NIL, name, image, likeness, killing athletics? Listen, it's a free conversation. I do these videos. I started this channel to have conversations with you. We don't have to agree, okay? We don't have to agree. I'm not going to come for you because you don't see it the way I see it. And if you come for me, in a disrespectful way, then we're gonna have to clean up the streets. That's how we're gonna roll in these streets, all right? So, but we don't have to agree with each other, y'all. But listen, opinions are opinions. They're not right and they're not wrong. So if you don't agree with me, that's cool. That's very cool. Tell me what you do think. I see a couple of people like, you did this, you said this, you came for this. No, well, if you don't agree with my opinion, then give me your opinion, right? It's total. It's all good. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it clean. But let's have some healthy debate and some healthy conversation because that's what this is about. As you will read in my about section, we're going to keep it conversational, but any disrespect, you're getting removed, and we're not going to debate. We're not going to debate that, all right? So let's keep it. Let's have a good time. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about it. Let's get passionate about our sports and what we believe, but we do not have to be disrespectful. All right, so the question is NIL destroying college athletics? All right, so let me give you a little history. For those of y'all who didn't read the About section in this channel, long history with me with basketball. Played on the NCAA championship team with the University of Texas, 34-0, first undefeated women's national champion from the NCAA division. Played for the Houston Comets on the first Houston Comets championship team in 1997. I've covered the league for over NCAA college men's and women and the WNBA for almost 20 years. In the trenches. I've coached women's basketball. I've coached male professional, semi-professional basketball in Italy and Switzerland. Been around the game. I don't just pick up the mic and just start talking about stuff I don't know what I'm talking about, all right? So the main thing here is that I'm bringing a lot of stuff. Some of it's baggage from not being in playing the game right now. So I'm going to bring some people think it's a little hateration that we didn't have NIL when I was playing, and maybe it is. I mean, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck here. I do wish we had NIL, but that's why I get to speak about the pre-NIL world and the world that we're in now and what might have been different and how I think this current environment could borrow some stuff from the previous environment and vice versa. So let's jump into it right now. I want you to get your fingers to tipping, you know, y'all know what I mean. Get your fingers to typing. There we go. Typing, not tipping. And let's talk about, is NIL killing the game? Is it destroying college athletics? So we're going to talk about, this might be a long video, probably my longest video heading into the holidays of Thanksgiving, but the question becomes a real interesting one, especially as we start talking about what the public gets to know and what they don't get to know, and now the athletes are celebrities and all this stuff like that. So let's jump into a couple of the cases for the belief that NIL is killing the game. Or let's just keep it this way. Here are some of the concerns that people have about NIL and what it's doing to college athletics. So the first thing that I hear when I speak on NIL and go to college business summits and talk about the current environment, the first thing that I hear people say is it's killing amateurism, right? Because college sports, because you couldn't get paid, it was such a pure game and it was amateur. These are the beliefs and the things that people say when I'm consulting with them on this topic. Well, we think it's killing amateurism. And is it? So that question is for y'all as well. Does the game feel like it's just it's a lower level of professional sports now? My belief and my opinion is that yes, it does feel that way. It no longer is. When we introduced money to the college game, it changed it forever. It no longer feels like people have come to college to get a degree and people are playing because they love the game, and people are playing to win championships with their teammates and to elevate, the university that they chose to play for, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying that's what it was. You introduce money into that equation, and now so many other things have come into play. Okay, first, people are concerned about amateurism. Next, people are concerned about inequities in terms of colleges. We're not even talking about athletes yet. So they think the Power Fives and the bigger institutions are possibly going to get bigger deals, and therefore it's not equal and it's not fair to the D2s and some of the lower level, lower tier, the mid majors. There's a belief that because big schools get more attention, they're on television more, whatever, that their brands are more important, and therefore it's not fair to the smaller schools. What do you think about that? There's some truth in that. There's absolutely some truth in that. If my school, which happens to be Texas, my school, Notre Dame, Georgia, whoever, whatever the big sports are for those schools, are on television all the time. If you're an Alabama football player, I would think that your NIL game is looking pretty good, because that's one of the higher tier, higher profile institutions. So is there some truth to that? I don't know that anyone has done a study on that, but if I were looking at it just the naked eye and going, okay, who's going to win in the NIL game? I'm going to say probably the bigger institutions with the most media credibility and the most media exposure and the most money, right? They're getting more attention. But is that true? We don't know that. Nobody's done a study, as I said. But it makes sense that people are concerned about that, because that's been our capitalistic society. It's been the people, the haves keep having, and the have-nots don't. But I don't think it's necessarily true in the game of NIL. I think the flip side of that is that student athletes, whoever you are, wherever you are, the playing field is equal. I believe the playing field is fairly equal, because now you get to prove that you can grow an audience. You get to prove you may not be the best player, best athlete on your team, but the world is yours. If you want to build your brand as a comedian or a speaker or an author or an app building, a developer, a politician, whatever, you actually can do that in today's environment as a college athlete. To me, that's fair, because what I will tell you, hang with me here. If you were not around in the 90s, the late 80s, the 90s, the 2000s or whatever, we couldn't do none of that. We couldn't even let someone take us out to dinner. Not saying people didn't do that. Not in my institution, we did. Not on my team, we didn't. But obviously, there were people who were doing this. You can read about the scandals at SMU and lots of other places. So people were obviously doing it, but we were told never to accept any inappropriate amenities and benefits from boosters, from fans, from anybody. Nobody. If you were not related to that person, they couldn't give you anything, or else you stood the chance, the danger of being ruled ineligible, suspended over a $25 meal. Y'all need to understand where we were and where we are. If someone walked up to me after a game and said, "Hey, you played a great game. I've watched you forever. I'd love to take you out to dinner to talk about even whatever, to talk about your career, your future." If I did that and accepted and didn't pay for my own meal, or even if I had ridden in the car with this person, I need y'all to hear me. If I rode in the car with this person, that's the first violation, inappropriate benefit. Then I get to the restaurant, they pay for my meal, second inappropriate benefit. That's 2 infractions over probably a $15 meal in 1986. Like, seriously, y'all, that's where we were. So when I hear people saying that there are going to be inequities, and then I hear people saying, hey, listen, it's not really that unequal. If as a college athlete, you get to build your business. I agree with that. Because if there had been NIL when I played, let me tell you this. I think I had a great career after I graduated Texas. I would have been killing the game with books and businesses. All the things I'm doing now, I could have started when I was 19 years old. Are you kidding me? So when I hear student athletes complaining about anything in today's environment, I go, stop it. Just stop it. You are in a free economic society. You get to build your business to the multi-million or billion-dollar level if you want to. If you are still eating ramen noodles in 2023, something is seriously wrong. There's just too much economic inclusion happening at the college level. Everybody can get paid. The third concern that people have about NIL, and actually this is something that I actually added to the list. The third concern is betting. this wasn't even on the list when people send me there when I go speak about NIL and start talking about what we can do to kind of bring this back into a little bit more manageable space. People didn't bring up betting, but they bring up the amateurism, they bring up the inequities, they bring up all this stuff. But I go, what about just the plain old fact that people can entice student athletes to perform a certain way, better or worse, just simply so they can win bets? That part is scary to me. That part is unfortunate that it's always been a part of the game. We know that. But now, but now that there is the opportunity to just freely contact people, DM me for business inquiries, and all this stuff that's happening under the table, it is already happening more because of that NIL has made it more of an open market. So I think of betting and I think of inappropriate business dealings around the outcomes of sporting events. That's where our game could possibly go. Obviously, we know that stuff is happening already, but I do believe it's opened up more of those opportunities. So the other thing that people are concerned about, let me grab this real quick because I'm talking off the dome for this one. Yes, distraction on the academic side. Let's just start here by saying school is not for everybody. Okay? School ain't for everybody. We don't get upset when tennis players go pro when they're 15 or whatever. And if we get upset, we certainly don't talk a whole lot about it. People have been going pro without going to college for a long time. But academic focus is out the window for a lot of people because part of the reason some people are going to college was for the matriculation through the system to get a degree so that they could get a good job, whatever that was, and build a life. The NIL situation, the NIL phenomenon has really upset the apple cart, disrupted the whole system of go to college, get a degree, get a job, take care of, build your family, build your business, whatever. Not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this was the way it was, and this is the way it is. And so now student athletes, not only even the ones who do want to do well in school, got contracts they got to think about. They've got meetings with business owners. They've got KPIs, key performance indicators they got to think about. They got 2,500 other things to think about in addition to the zoology test that they have next Friday. Yes, it is impacting their mental health, their spiritual health, their physical health. It's impacting that. Academics is not necessarily at the forefront of student athletes' minds today because they are working professionals. They are working professionals. Not right, not wrong. It is what it is. So you can like it, you can not like it. This is where we are. All right. So the whole thought that now student athletes need more additional support academically is a valid point because they have more things on their plate than they did 2 years ago. But here's a question I just thought of in this moment. Is it really the institution's job to give the student athlete who is semi-professional now, is it their job to put infrastructures in place to help these semi-professionals do better in school? It's a question. I'm asking you this. It's a question. Or is it the student athlete's job to take some of the money that they're making from NIL and get themselves a tutor, even if it needs to travel with them? I mean, all of these questions have to be answered. These are the questions I'm sitting with athletic directors talking about on the phone, on Zooms. Like, have y'all thought about this? Have you thought about the fact that this student athlete is making more than her coach or his coach? Should they really be on scholarship? Should they be paying for their own school? We got to figure all this out, y'all. And we are just tapping into, I'm asking questions and I'm asking my ADs and the people I'm consulting with, and all of us are going, we don't know. We got to figure that out. All right. So here's another question. Here's another thing. Let me tap into this real quick. Oh yeah, we already talked about that potential for exploitation. Oh, here's what I said. The first thing I thought about, this tells you how far back it's been since I played, is the first thing I thought about was team dynamics. If you don't think NIL is impacting team dynamics, listen, there's always been drama. There's always been, I don't like her, I don't like him, we don't get along, whatever. There's always been that. That's human dynamics. But right now, what's happening is teammates seeing the deal that I got last Friday from Rubbermaid or Toyota or Mercedes. Oh, okay. That's what she's doing. Then teammates start going, okay, she got a Mercedes, she got a BMW, he got a Rover, whatever the conversation pieces are. This is happening in locker rooms right now, and it's impacting teammates' ability to get along. It's their ability to stay there, to stay focused. None of this was happening when I played basketball at the University of Texas on our national championship team. None of this. Oh yeah, we were bickering, we were fighting. Yeah, but it was about other stuff. This is added, piled on. And some of the stuff, the coaches, the staff, they're not equipped to support and handle. Back in the day, coaches had to do one thing: train their athletes, make sure people stayed eligible, had them over to dinner for barbecues, for special days. That's it. Like, legit. That was it. Now, coaches don't even have the skills in their bag. No shade, but they don't. They're coaches. They're mentors. They're not business experts. They're not psychologists. They're not therapists. They're not lawyers. All of these things student athletes need today. And not to mention all the other elements that come up as a result of the fact that you are now making money as a student athlete. Taxes, agreements, lawsuits. Is NIL destroying college sports? Because I'm going to ask this question. With all this stuff on let's say if I had a son or daughter in college, all this stuff on my kid's mind, how good can they really be? We're seeing this we won't name who they are. We're seeing this with student athletes all over the country, not focusing on their game because they're so tapped into their NIL and their business exploits. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it is what it is. I'm saying it's clearly what it is. And it probably would be no different for us. Let's keep it a buck. It probably would be no different for us. 30 years ago, it was a lot to just go to a D1 school, 15 to 18 hours, 32 games a season. This is 30 years ago. Social obligations and staying eligible. Wanting to win a championship, but also staying eligible. The question, I'm going to end it with this one because this literally could be a 2-hour long conversation. I'm going to end it with, I do wonder though, is it really important for student athletes these days to play the game because they love it? Is it even important? Or is everybody playing the game to position themselves for better NIL, better opportunities? And that's not right or wrong. It's a question. It is a question. It's a question that I ask student athletes when I go speak to them. It's a question that I pose to coaches and ADs when I'm consulting with them about this environment. It's a question. No judgment, but it's different. And anyone who doesn't think it's different, and anyone who doesn't know that everything I just mentioned, plus 10 more things that I didn't even get to talk about, because I'm trying to keep this video relatively short, is in fairyland, fairy tale land. It's hitting different, y'all. And there's a lot more stuff underneath all that's happening at the college level. And honestly, we need to pray for our coaches and we need to pray for our student athletes. I'm smiling, but it's true. We need to have some good thoughts and good energy, because you're only seeing a small percentage of what's happening in our institutions and with our student athletes right now. And they need support, and they need help, and they need education, and they need some reality checks. They need all of that. It's not one or the other. Y'all, some of y'all get mad. Well, y'all are mad. Y'all are saying all this stuff about Angel, and you saying all this stuff about Kim Mulkey, and you saying all this stuff about Don Staley, and you saying you're okay. It can be both. They need support, and they need reality checks. We all do. These student athletes and coaches don't need anything different than what you and I need in our lives. We need reality checks, and we need support, and we need opportunities. And all of that is happening right now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want more of these kinds of conversations, let me know. Love talking about the business of sports. And make sure that you comment. Let us know what you think about what's happening in the world of NIL. Most importantly, do you think NIL is destroying college athletics? And if you do think that, you do believe that, what can we do? What can we do to change that? Because I like college sports. I don't know about y'all. I'm assuming y'all are here because you enjoy college sports as well. So anyway, that's it for today. Have a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you tomorrow or the next day. But appreciate all your comments, all your thoughts. Like, share, turn on notifications so you get notified when I drop another video. But most importantly, be safe, be good out there, and we'll see you in the next video.